Sanmonani guys, welcome back to yet another video. And we are speaking of Nganele season 2. So guys, I want us to speak about a scene that played in the latest episode where Ntombi and Nhlanhla are going on something like a boat cruise or something like that. But I want us to speak about the conversation that they had when they were on that boat cruise. First of all, Nhlanhla looked extremely like wasted and intoxicated, but that's another video. But anyway, while they on the boat cruise, Unhlatla's basically telling Ntombi that remember when I told you that the mother that I know is not my real mother? Like he's basically narrating like the whole story to her all over again. And he basically says that his family still refuses like to tell him in detail of like what exactly like happened to his mother. And then Ntombi, like she's sitting there and she's playing with Ntando. He's playing with she's playing with Nhlanhla's hair and she's like, does it make a difference? Like the fact that your family doesn't want to tell you in detail of what happened to your mother, does it really make a difference? And I'm like, hey, Batu, Haibo Ntombi. Like at that moment, she just sounded like Ukoko, because that would be like something Coco would say. You know, I truly did not expect her to be asking a question like, does it make a difference? Especially like considering like it's such a sensitive matter to Untland. And after it, she goes on to say that as much as his family kept a secret from him, but she says that she doesn't remember him. She doesn't remember Nhlanhla saying that they abused him or beat him. So what's making him like cry basically? Like what's making him make a big fuss? Out of like this whole thing because he knows his identity and he knows his grandmother's identity. And I'm just like, wow, whoa, ma'am, that is a lot. There is a lot to say. And I think I get like what she's trying to do. I feel like she's coming from a good place and I feel like she's trying to pull Untlanhla like out of the place of, like kind of like being like making an unhealthy thing out of the relationship. But I just don't think it's like the right way to go about it, considering it's such a sensitive issue. I mean, this isn't Lanka's mother, after all, his biological mother, and he heard the truth about his mother on the streets. Him, like he heard the truth about what happened to his mother by hearsay. He never ever heard it from his family. So I feel like Ntombi's like trying to get him out of that space of like don't get into a place where you will end up like hating your family over something you can't change. I get that, but I'm like, it's such a sensitive issue, and I'm like, yes, that's trying to make it seem like it's not a sensitive issue and like it doesn't get to him. But I feel like the key to see that it is a sensitive issue for him is how he keeps bringing it up, how he keeps bringing it up over and over again. And I feel like Ntombi just needed to be a bit sensitive pertaining that matter. I feel sometimes like sometimes it's not that a person wants answers as per se. Like in this case, I don't think Untantla wants answers from Ntombi. I know very well that he knows that he can't get any answers from Ntombi, but I feel like he's hurting, and I feel like Ntombi should have just at least given him the space to just speak his heart without like having to jump the gun and be like, does it make a difference? Like, as long as you know your identity and your grandmother's identity, that's enough. No, as individuals, we're not the same. What makes you enough, or the type of detailing and information that makes you enough, might not be enough for the next person. So Ntombi goes on to say that he should be basically grateful that he knows his own identity and he knows the identity of his grandmother. So she's basically saying that he's not lost in terms of his roots, because at the end of the day, this is his mother's mother. So he's not lost in terms of his root. So she goes on to say that it's just that Untlands, he doesn't know the physical person being his mother. And she's like, he doesn't know the physical person, but then again, where will they find him? Like to say, like Nhlanhla's busy asking so many questions, like what answers are they gonna give him, and where will they find her? Where would they find the mother physically, because she's no longer around? And I'm just like, don't be like, nah, like I just felt like that was just a bit like too much and too sensitive, considering the fact, I don't know, maybe she's tired of hearing Kanta like talking about over and over the same, speaking about one and the same thing over and over again. And she's like, I just need to get him out of this place. But it just came off on TV. It came off as if she's being a bit insensitive. And she's like, almost as if she's saying, get over yourself and move on from the situation. So she's like, where will they find him? And she's like, it won't make any difference. Like him wanting answers won't make any difference, because either way, they can't bring back the mother. And I'm like, yes, it will make a difference, because it will give him the closure that he needs. When a person is hurting and they want answers, I think it's just fair for you to give them the answers that they want, and then at least then see what they do with the information. But it's not on us to decide whether like it will make a difference, whether the information they want will make a difference or not. And then he goes on to say that he was saying that he thinks that they should have been honest with him. Ganta feels like they should have been like completely honest with him. You've seen, or you would have seen from the previous episodes, that the family is basically beating around the bush concerning like this whole matter. And Tlantla just feels like they should have told him like everything in detail and stop like beating around the bush and making him like drag the truth out of them. So as he's busy saying that, Ntombi is basically saying that he must forget. He will never get the answers he wants from them. He must just forget and settle it in his heart that the very details that he wants around his mother's passing and all of that, he must just forget, because he's not gonna get any of that. And she then says that sooner or later he has to come to a realization that he's going to have to counsel himself, and that he must learn to accept that even if a parent is wrong, they're unlikely to say, I'm sorry. So she's saying that even though the parents were wrong, both his mother, Umkulisile, the mother who grew him up, and the grandmother, though they are wrong, he must just settle it in his heart that they're never going to say sorry, because it's just unlikely for grown-ups to say sorry. And that one is true, guys, especially within our South African tribes, especially within Zulu, Xhosa tribes. I don't know about the other tribes, but I just know that it was just such a foreign thing for parents to say they're sorry when they've wronged you. Like it's like you were a child. I don't owe any explanation to you, and I don't think that's fair, because children also do have feelings. So yeah, that's what she was saying. And Unhlanhla then goes on to say in his diary session that it hurts him very much that the very same person whom he's supposed to be confiding in is sending him from pillar to post, and he feels like he's actually alone in all of this. And I must say, guys, this, like every time I see like Nhlanhla's like uncle and the relationship they had, it makes me sad to think that he's no longer around, because yeah, I kind of feel in a sense that he's alone, at least with his uncle, though, his uncle tried to like be the middle person between his family and Nhlanhla. But when Nhlanhla and him were together, he'd like be honest with his nephew. And I think Nhlanhla felt like that was the only person whom like can hear him out, because with his mother and his granny, they don't have time for him. They're just like, nope, ngeke sizwe ngengane, we're not going to listen to a child. But with his uncle would give him like the platform to speak his feelings out and advise him and all of that. So even with him confiding in Ntombi, and Ntombi basically saying to him like, just forget about this whole thing. I do feel like he truly does feel alone, and it's a sad thing. It really is a sad thing, but yeah. And then Ntombi goes on to say that she basically the reason why she's speaking like this to Unhlanhla, and she says that she cannot lie to him and says that you are being disrespected by your family. She says it basically does not work like that. And she says everyone knows that an orphan is ungovernable, like an orphan in Tandan I. So she's saying that I cannot tell Unhlanhla that they disrespecting you, they owe you an apology and all of that, because next thing, when they're trying to reprimand him, he's gonna basically answer and say, the reason why they're reprimanding me, the reason why they're speaking to me like this or treating me like this is because I don't have a mother. So she's saying that if she doesn't want him to get into the mindset that whenever like they're trying to reprimand him or say anything, he then, now makes it an excuse of the reason why they're doing that is because because he doesn't have a mother. And I get where she's coming from as well, but I'm like, at this point, Unhlanhla is like, he's a grown-up man. And if he still wants to use that excuse or use that as an excuse as his age, then angaz, yeah, when like I do agree with that to a certain extent, but I'm just like, give him the space to at least like, does anyone realize that Nhlanhla never ever got the opportunity to mourn his mother? I feel like everyone forgets that Ugogo had an opportunity to mourn her daughter. Umaga she got an opportunity to mourn her sister. Everyone got an opportunity to mourn the mother, but except Nhlanhla. This is like his only, and though he might have known of the information, but it's still not the same. So I'm like, guys, give him the space to mourn, because it's like he has to like go back to scratch. Like he has to start from scratch, from like he was even asking his uncle what was his mother like. Like, so all of those things are like coming to his mind. What was his mother like? What did she look like? What did she speak like? So I'm like, he's having to start his healing process like from point A. And I feel like people should give him a little grace because they had an opportunity to mourn that woman. So anyway, that was the conversation between Ntombi and Unhlanhla. But basically, Nhlanhla is saying that he just wants the detail. He just wants the truth in detail. And Ntombi's just like, no, get out of that. You are never going to get the truth in detail. But guys, tell me what you think. If you also think that Ntombi is kind of being like a bit insensitive, I don't think she realizes it. Again, I don't think she's coming from a bad or a harsh place. I think she is trying to save Unhlanhla from himself. But you can still save a person from themselves by, just don't make them feel as if like they're crazy for asking the questions that they are asking, or crazy for hurting at their big age. Like, just give him the opportunity to mourn his mother, you guys. Anyway, guys, please do make sure that you like this video. Please also do subscribe. It is absolutely for free of charge, and I'll see you on the next one.